We have a few say states that we need to discuss in a tabular form. So we have the disabled state, which is more like saying when you have a shutdown or when something happens to a link and it's blocked. We'll see when we get to port fast, we'll see a concept called error disable mode. So when something happens, the block will automatically block itself, and that would be a disabled port. And when a port is in a disabled port, whether it happens because of some mechanism dynamically or when we statically go into the device and say shutdown. Now, when it happens, it means that that port cannot receive BPDUs. It also means that that port cannot send BPDUs, meaning it cannot tell other devices about the bridge ID and root bridge ID and all that. It can also learn about devices, MAC addresses. It can also forward traffic. That's what happens when the port is disabled. It means it is disabled. But when the port is blocked, it doesn't mean it is disabled. It only means that we are not using it. The only thing we are looking out for on that port is BPDUs. Let's say the hellos, information about spanning tree. That's all that port is doing. It is not blocked. It's just listening to spanning tree, waiting for an opportunity to become a port. That's all it's doing. And the only way it will know whether to become a forwarding port is when something happens and BPDUs will tell it that, hey, now you have the opportunity. So it's just receiving BPDUs. And when a port is in listening state, it receives BPDU, meaning it's getting the hello messages. It's also sending hello messages about its BPDUs, but it cannot do learning. It cannot do forwarding. When a port is also in learning, it receives BPDUs. It can send BPDUs, but it can also learn about MAC addresses, but it cannot forward. When a port is in forwarding, we're saying that it can receive BPDUs, it can send BPDUs, it can receive MAC addresses and send information about devices and also forward traffic as well. So that is the different states when it comes to switch ports in this whole idea of spanning tree. So every port will be in one of these states at one point in time. And then mostly the last stage will either be forwarding or blocking, because it's either you passing traffic or you're not passing traffic. Mostly that's what's going to happen. Once in a while, you get a port which will go into disabled, whether we do a shutdown or whether it goes through an error mode, so which is error disable mode, which you see, it may not be because of port fast. It can also be because of what we call port security. When it realizes that a strange device has been connected, the port will be blocked and it will take it to error disable mode. So when we get to security, we'll look at that also, that scenario as well.